couple weeks ago, I posted a video about how I'm starting over in my 30s. And to my surprise, it ended up being one of the best performing videos on my channel. But what mattered more to me than the views was getting messages like this. And to think that I almost never posted that video at all. You see, sometimes there's a little voice inside my head that tells me what I'm doing isn't good enough to share. And that day, I almost let that voice win. But looking back on this message, it really made me think, how many more lives could I have changed if I just got out of my own way? And how many people never start or give up too early because of that same inner critic? So today, I want to talk about my own experience of pushing through self-doubt and what I think it really means to build confidence, so that maybe next time you feel doubt creeping in, you'll remember this story. Oh yeah, all right. Hello. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you for clicking on this video. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get some value out of it. This channel exists to document what it's like to build a life you're proud of. I am very real on here and candid, and I try to share the challenges just as much as I share the wins. And most importantly, I try to share the lessons that I'm learning as I go through this life. You know, my goal is to live life to the fullest and try and empower as many people as I can in the process. You can either watch this video, I would suggest, because the views are incredible. I try to film my videos in the outdoors as much as I can and switch things up, and it's another reason for me to get outside. But if you want to listen to the audio, you can do that as well. So whatever kind of floats your boat. But right now, I'm coming at you from this beautiful spot, literally in my backyard. This place is 8 minutes from my house, and I've lived here for 3 years, and I hadn't been to this spot until 2 weeks ago. My girlfriend and I, we came out here and we had sushi. It was a nice little kind of like picnic date. Tried to check out a new spot, and we were blown away. Like, you can see the entire valley, you can see the Canadian Rockies in behind, which is usually where I film my videos. I usually like to head out into the mountains and make like an afternoon of it, just set up the tripod like this and just film my videos. But this one was close to home, and we just loved it up here, and I figured it'd be a good spot to film. So as you saw from the beginning of this video, this one is all about kind of like pushing through self-doubt and what I think it takes to build confidence. I want to just share kind of like my own experiences with dealing with imposter syndrome and self-doubt and stuff like that. I've always been someone who is like really hard on themselves. I've struggled with perfectionism since I was a kid, and I feel like I constantly set these like unrealistic standards for myself, and when I don't meet them, I kind of like beat myself up for it. So I want to just like share a bit about that and kind of how it manifested in filming one of my recent videos called I'm Starting Over at 31. If you haven't checked that video out, I would love for you to head on to my channel and check that out. It was just a video about kind of like being at a crossroads, about opening up about how I'm starting over, and what's next for me in life. And it was really cool to just like see how many people resonated with my story and how many people felt seen. Yes, the video was one of the highest performing videos on my channel stats wise, and I'm grateful that it reached people. But what really meant a lot to me were the comments and the messages that I got from people, like the message that you saw at the beginning of this video. That was just kind of one of many. I had a lot of people just telling me how much that video inspired them or motivated them to kind of like take action in their own lives, or to share their own stories, you know. So that's what it's all about for me. That's why I make these videos. And it's just crazy to think that video almost didn't see the light of day. You know, I almost let myself and my self-doubt get in the way of a good thing. So I just want to share my own experience and some things that I've learned. And I also want to share some insights that I picked up from a podcast recently that my therapist recommended to me. It was a podcast about confidence, and I'll drop the link down below if you want to check it out. But I want to share some of my big takeaways, some things that have really helped me reframe self-doubt, and also just some really good insights that I have held on to since listening to it. So I just want to share those with you. So if you're willing to stick around, then yeah, we can dive into all that. But so let me start by kind of taking you back to that day, when I went out to film. It was one of those days where I just like motivation was really low, and I felt like my brain was fuzzy, and I just couldn't find my words, and I ended up trying to film the same thing that should have taken 30 minutes. It took me 2 hours. I was filming it multiple takes. I think I had three different takes, and I didn't like any of them. And that's when I ended up kind of like texting my girlfriend this, essentially saying that I'm gonna give up and come home, and it's not working. Today's not the day. I ended up getting back into my car. I even started the car and everything, and then I was like, fuck it, like. You drove all the way out here. You drove an entire hour. You planned the whole thing. You've shot listed it. Just go out and give it one more shot. So I did. I filmed one more take, and that is the take that is now the video that's live on my channel. So I think there's a few takeaways that I want to share from this experience. The first one being that I've found that like resistance often peaks right before breakthrough. This was like the manifestation of that. It was like I was so ready to give up, and if I had given up, I wouldn't have pulled through in that final take, you know. So I think there's a lot of instances where I've given up too early, but also I realized that how it feels making the thing does not really determine how it lands. So what I mean by that is, like, in my head in that moment, nothing was going right. Like, nothing felt good. I couldn't find my words, and it didn't feel good to make, and therefore it's not good. But so many times it's that's really not the case, you know. Like, we live in our own heads and we create these false narratives, and a lot of the times we are harder on ourselves than other people are, obviously, you know. Like, we're our own toughest critic. And were there things that I could have improved with that video? Yes. Were there things that I could have done differently? Yes. Did it feel like I left some things on the table and some things unsaid? Yes. But at the end of the day, I put it out, and it was received so much better than I could have imagined, you know. So that's another thing, is like, a lot of the times I feel like you just have to put the work out and see how how people respond to it. And that brings me to actually a really good quote that I have from Alex Hormozy, which is, "Don't build confidence, build evidence. Confidence comes as a result of evidence, not the other way around." And I think it's so true. Like, I think we have to continue to put ourselves in these situations where we prove to ourselves that we can do the thing. And the only way to build evidence is to just put in the reps, you know. So this was one of those moments where I tried to remind myself of how many times I've felt a similar feeling in the past, and how many times I've pushed through that, how many times I have doubted myself and proved myself wrong. Making these videos, talking on camera, is like a perfect example of that for me. Like, the very first video talking on camera, I was so like in my head about it, and I was like, I'm not going to be good at this. But the more I did that thing, the more I put myself in front of the camera, the more I practiced and actually put myself out there, the more confident I was to step back in front of the camera and do it again. So yeah, I think that's just like an important thing to remember. Damn, this sun is looking crazy right now. We got the sun coming out here for these final moments of this video. But yeah, I mentioned earlier that I listened to a podcast about confidence, and I want to share some of the insights from that. I think one of the biggest things that I took away from this podcast was this analogy about doubt, and I want to share that with you because it honestly, it's like given me such a good visual for how doubt can affect us. Imagine you have 2 full glasses of water. One glass of water you put a golf ball into, and the other glass of water you put a ping pong ball into. So if you were to imagine putting a golf ball into a full glass of water, it would sink to the bottom and water would spill out of the top. On the other hand, if you were to put a ping pong ball into the other glass, it would just float at the top. So the ball is supposed to represent doubt. Doubt should feel like the ping pong ball. Everybody faces imposter syndrome. Everybody has these thoughts of doubt, but the way that the ping pong ball floats to the top, that's how you should that's how it should affect you. You should acknowledge that it's there, but you shouldn't let it become a part of who you are. You shouldn't let it consume you and take you over, like the golf ball. So the golf ball, on the contrary, is kind of like when it sinks, it becomes a part of who you are, and the water that spills out is almost like a metaphor for like you losing a part of yourself in the process. And I thought it was just like really, really cool to be able to visualize that, to also kind of like acknowledge that like everybody has doubts. Like it's just like a natural part of being a human, is like we all doubt ourselves at some point, but doubt isn't the issue, it's how we handle doubt, you know. So acknowledging that it's there, but not letting it consume you and become a part of who you are, I think is like super, super important. So yeah, I hope you take a little bit something from this video. I want to just like hopefully inspire you to just post your work, put it out there, share it with the world. And yeah, get those reps in, you know. That's the only way to like conquer your own self-doubt and to build evidence, to build confidence. There's another quote here, two quotes that I want to end this video with. The first one is, every action you take is a vote for the person you wish to become. James Clear. And another one from one of my favorite books of all time called The Creative Act by Rick Rubin is a quote that goes something like this: hanging onto your work is like spending years writing the same entry in a diary. I thought that was so poetic, so good. And yeah, I just wanted to leave those with you before I call it on this video. And one last thing, just like I do in all my other videos, I want to give you a question to ponder. So on this topic of doubt, my question for you this week is, what would you attempt if you knew you wouldn't fail? Yeah, think about it and let me know what you think. Feel free to drop your answer down in the comments below. Feel free to share your own stories and your own experiences down there, and hopefully it can inspire other people that read them. I would love to read them as well. So yeah, I just want to thank you again for tuning in, and again, I hope you got some value out of this video, and I hope you tune into the next one. So until then, I am going to enjoy the final moments of this sunset, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.